Hello, everyone. I wanted to give you a heads up. This is Michelle Hagan, legal analyst, and I wanted to give you the heads up regarding the Scott Peterson case. If you're interested, the hearing starts on Friday, and they're going to be doing a live audio stream. So the hearing starts Friday the 25th at 10 o'clock. And here is, you just click on this to get your link to join into the audio stream. You would click here. If you don't want to listen to the audio, you can go in person and I will show you where the information is. You scroll down. So no audio and video recording of the proceeding is permitted, although they're going to live stream the hearing of the audio. Parking, there's plenty of parking. There's 2 seats for the media. Okay, here's public access. Starting this Friday to next Friday, there'll be 6 right here, 6 to 8 seats dedicated to the public each day. To request a seat, you must appear outside the entrance of the courthouse between 8 and 9 in the morning to enter your name for a seat raffle. At 9:15 each day, the court will announce from the courthouse steps who has been selected for those lucky seats, 6 to 8 seats. And for those of you who get into the courtroom, there will not be any audio or video recording allowed. And if you're interested in learning more about the case, I thought I would show you this. This is access to the Odyssey portal, which gives you access to all the court documents. So what you would do is you click on here. Then you would scroll down. I'll go over this with you to show you how to do this. So you hit the accept button. Then what you want to do is you want to scroll down again, go click on the Odyssey Portals button. Then you want to click on the Odyssey Public Portal. Then you want to scroll down again. Scroll down. You can go ahead and read this if you want. You keep scrolling. Then you're going to hit Odyssey Public Portal again. Then you're going to click on Smart Search. Then what you want to do is you're going to put in Scott Peterson's name or whoever you're looking for, but we're looking for Scott Peterson. Click on I'm not a robot. Of course, I have to click on all these little traffic light things because they don't believe I'm a person. I don't know. Does that poll count? I think that poll counts. I'm going to click on it anyway. Let's see what happens. Oh, I didn't get it. Okay, chimney. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that should do it. It should be verified. Yay! Okay, I'm verified. I'm in. Okay, so it's going to take a couple. Oh, it came right up. So what you want to do is scroll down to Scott Peterson Scott Lee. It's all the way at the bottom. Okay, you're going to click on the case number right here. And now it's going to take a couple seconds because the case is from 2004 and it's been on appeal. And one of those issues on appeal is whether or not juror number 7 committed misconduct, which violated Scott Peterson's right to a fair trial, meaning he was entitled to have 12 unbiased jurors. And what Peterson is alleging is that juror number 7 had a bias against him. Therefore, he did not get a fair trial. So right here, case information, who were the parties, the charges, and documents. You click on that to go ahead and look at the documents, but I thought I'd show you. Here's the name. Oop, scroll too fast there. Let me do it this way. So it's People versus Scott Lee Peterson. Is back in, they filed the case in January 2004. Here are the 5 charges he was charged with. He was convicted of murder 1, count 1, and then count 2, murder 2 regarding Connor. And I think it was 2nd-degree murder. Yes, it was 2nd-degree murder on Connor. 1st-degree murder, count 1 for the killing of Laci Peterson, his wife. And Connor was his unborn child. I think she was approximately 8 months pregnant at the time that this happened. Anyway, you can go ahead and scroll down here. It'll tell you plenty. And then I wanted to show you, back up a second here. If you wanted to get to the documents much quicker than scrolling down, you can just click on documents here. And here's the remittitur, which tells you what are the reasons it'll tell you the reasons he's asking for an appeal. But the remitter is several years old, and you would just scroll down to the most recent, and you can do that at your leisure if you'd like. So I thought I would show that to you. The other thing I wanted to show you was one of the recent filings by Peterson's attorneys. And this is regarding the evidentiary hearing. And what it's telling us is giving us a little bit of an update of there's two witnesses they're not going to be calling. And then I wanted to show you some of the testimony they expect to get from some of their witnesses. It's called a offer of proof, is when we let the parties know what we expect our witnesses to testify to, okay? So this was filed by Peterson's attorney. You can go ahead and read it. Offer of proof, this is regarding juror number 7, Richelle Nice. She will be testifying, and if she testifies, varies differently, says something different than her declaration, then the parties will give an offer of proof as to whether or not they're going to get into further questioning of Richelle Nice. You can go ahead and look at my video I did on her declaration. That'll let you know exactly what it is that she said that happened regarding the juror questionnaire. So just to get you up to speed here, on the juror questionnaire, Peterson is alleging that she concealed information regarding not disclosing that she had been involved in a domestic violence case. She was a victim. And also she had filed a restraining order. And the juror questionnaire specifically asked jurors, have you been a victim of a crime? In her declaration, she says she didn't consider herself to be a victim, nor did she consider the behavior, the domestic violence behavior, to constitute a crime. So she answered that question, no. Peterson says that is concealing information, and had his attorneys known, she would not have been a juror in this case. She would have been excused. Likewise, on the restraining order, she didn't disclose that too. Whether or not that constitutes a lawsuit, according to juror number 7, she doesn't believe that it was considered a lawsuit because in her mind, a lawsuit only relates to money and property, not a restraining order against her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. Anyway, you can take a look at video I did on Peterson witnesses and evidence. That'll get you up to speed. Okay, I also wanted to point out remote testimony. Is any of the witnesses going to be testifying remotely? There is one witness, and that's Justin Faulkner. He's employed in Iraq by the State Department, so he will not be able to testify in person. He's one of the jurors that was excused, and he's going to be giving testimony. He'll be called by Peterson's attorneys to give testimony relating to the statements that juror number 7 made to him, which I assume relates to whether or not she had a bias against Scott Peterson. Okay, in other words, did she lie to get on the jury? You know, did she lie? Was she expecting a book deal, or did she have an axe to grind against Peterson? And if so, and if the judge decides that, the judge could find that she had a bias, but we'll have to see who testifies to what and what evidence they submit. Okay, the other witnesses are Mark Garagos. He will be testifying in person. Mr. Garagos was Mr. Peterson's lead attorney in the murder case. And he will probably be telling us, and again, you can go ahead and look at my video that I did on Peterson witnesses. He's probably going to be telling us that had he known this information regarding Richelle Nice, he would have excused her as a juror. Okay, then there's Shireen Anderson. She will be testifying in person. She does live in New York, but she'll be coming to California to testify in person. Shireen Anderson was an A&E producer. She may still be. She did a documentary on the case, on the murder case. She's probably going to be testifying to statements that Richelle Nice, juror number 7, made to her. Whether or not it shows bias or not, we'll have to see. This is telling us the attendance of family members, that it looks like both family members of Scott Peterson and Laci Peterson will be attending the hearing. Juror number 7 will be represented by an attorney, Jeffrey Carr. And miscellaneous evidentiary issues. This paragraph 5 is just telling us that there's a court docket, People versus Whiteside, and I think that relates to the domestic violence case and whether or not the court's going to be taking judicial notice of the court's docket regarding that case. Then post-hearing briefing, and this is interesting because this is letting us know, and I'll read it to you. Mr. Peterson proposes the following schedule for post-hearing briefing. Simultaneous post-hearing opening briefs are due 30 days after the parties are served with the transcript of the evidentiary hearing. Any reply briefing is due no later than 14 days after filing of the opening. So what is that telling us? That is telling us that the judge will not be making a decision when the hearing ends. Both sides are going to be given an opportunity to submit a brief, which is basically laying out their arguments based on the testimony and the evidence that was presented at the evidentiary hearing starting on the 25th through March 4th. Both sides are going to be filing opening briefs. And then based on those briefs, both sides have an opportunity to submit a reply brief. In other words, point out to the court why they disagree with whatever argument the other side has made. And they have to submit those reply briefs. And then based on that, the court will possibly have a hearing to take arguments on the briefs, or the court could just make a decision based on the briefs. So that's letting us know that it's at least 45 days out before 45 days after March 4th. So what is that? March, April. So mid-April, late April, before we'll get a decision on whether or not Scott Peterson gets a new trial. The other thing I wanted to point out to you, which I thought was kind of interesting, I'm going to scroll down here. Let's see, these are the exhibits. This is letting us know these are offer of proofs regarding Peterson witnesses. This is Frank Swartlow. He was one of the authors of the book. He was also a juror with juror number 7. Johnny Dodd was a journalist with People magazine, and he interviewed juror number 7 regarding the 17 letters that she wrote to Scott Peterson when he was in jail. 8 of which People magazine talked about in that article that Mr. Dodd wrote. Here's the information regarding Shireen Anderson being a producer, filmmaker with A&E. Heath Orchard was a cameraman who was filming the documentary with Shireen Anderson. Justin Faulkner, he's going to be talking about, and this is what's interesting, he's going to be an important witness for Peterson because he was a juror with juror number 7. And here's what he's going to testify to. Mr. Faulkner will testify that in conversations he had with juror number 7, she talked a lot about Laci and Scott's unborn child, Connor, and she referred to Connor as the little man. They also expect Justin Faulkner to tell us that juror number 7 said she was having money problems as a result of being a juror because her job was not paying her for jury service. And juror number 7 said to him that she could have been excused for financial hardship, but she stayed because she really wanted to be on the jury. She really wanted to be on the jury. And he'll say that juror number 7 and Mr. Faulkner laughed about getting a book deal once the trial was over and which actors would play them in a movie that was made about the trial. So what that is telling us is Justin Faulkner had conversations. He was a fellow juror with juror number 7. He had conversations with her. Now, whether or not the judge lets him testify to this, we'll see. Because it could be, I mean, it's definitely hearsay. So we'll see whether or not the judge will let it in. But Mr. Faulkner will be testifying that all of this relates to whether or not juror number 7 had a bias. You know, was she more concerned about Laci and Connor and the little man? Because as you know, or you may find out, is that juror number 7 pretty much raised 4 boys And so whether or not she was taking a position for Laci and Connor, you know, showing a bias towards them. Maybe she was getting on the panel because she wanted him to pay, wanted Scott Peterson to pay the price for this. I don't know. And here talking about money problems and getting a book deal, maybe that, you know, and her staying on the panel, even though she was having financial hardship, maybe that goes to bias to show that she was hoping to get a book deal, to get a financial windfall from this. So was she really impartial? You know, so that's, I'm sure, something they've already been arguing this, but I'm sure that's something that Peterson's attorneys will be bringing up. Let's see what's Exhibit B. Oh, that relates to court files and such. All right. So I hope this was helpful to you. And I wanted to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll try to put an audio or a link to the audio for the hearing, the Peterson hearing on Friday. I'll try to do that. Otherwise, you can go ahead and look at this video again to see where it is you need to click through to get the link to the audio feed. Okay, so is there anything else I wanted to show you? I think that's it. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your comments, and thanks for subscribing. And go ahead and share the video with friends and family, and we'll see what happens next. This should be a very interesting hearing starting on Friday regarding the Peterson case as to whether or not he gets a new trial. And if he gets a new trial, it starts all over again and his conviction gets thrown out. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Peterson to meet the burden of proof. And there's plenty of cases that could really go either way, but I think it's going to be a pretty steep climb for Peterson, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And again, it all depends on what the evidence is and what the witnesses testify to at the hearing starting on Friday. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you very much for watching and for listening.